Hi Mark, my name is Morgan Demiecki, and this is the video interview for the position of IT support specialist at Celera. So I'm going to go ahead and start answering your 10 questions, with the first one being something about myself. So I graduated this May with my bachelor's in commercial space operations and minors in human factors and homeland security. And currently I'm preparing for my check ride for my private pilot license, and then hopefully afterwards I'll be going for my instrument in commercial readings. I'm from Chicago originally, and I currently live in Ormond Beach, and I am not married. And in my spare time, I like to go running, go to the gym, and participate in races from 5Ks, 10Ks to half marathons. So why am I interested in working for Celera? My experience in IT was mainly retail or academia. So I worked for H2O Plus and Tesla on the retail side in the sense that they both sold products. So supporting those employees was a little bit different than supporting academia, which was Embry-Riddle worldwide headquarters, because those companies use different software, hardware for the purposes of their mission, of their goals. So obviously someone who's selling product needs different support than someone who is a professor or a student trying to get into their class online. So with that being said, I think it would be really interesting to work for Celera because I'm sure there's a variety of clients, and you're not just supporting one company or the employees at one company. You're supporting a wide variety and a diverse background of clients, I guess I would say. My strengths, I think my biggest strength is the fact that I am a huge problem solver. So that going back to high school, I was always on my every year I would be on the problem solving teams, and ever since then I've kind of developed this engineering mindset that when I see a problem I need to figure out how to do it. If I can't do it myself, I'll have people help me, but I can't just leave it there. Also, I want to say human factors because I am kind of the middleman between the engineers that create the perfect product but don't think of the human interaction with it, and then the human factors folks who don't really think like engineers. They just think of the human interface with it. So I like to be sort of in the middle and have this non-bias mindset and see how I can improve on both sides. I'm also really trustworthy and honest. I think that's a huge value in professional lives as well as personal lives. And throughout the years, I've also developed a great customer service skills just by being in IT and working with people daily, whether it's in person or through the phone or through chat, email, whatever the communication method is. I've learned to be really patient and know how to explain things really well so that the client or customer knows I'm doing my best to help them. That being said, some of my weaknesses, I would say sometimes I'm not confident enough with my thought process or answer. Sometimes in my head I go, oh, that's probably stupid, or I'm sure that's not right, and then someone else says it, and then I go, I could have said that, and I could have been right. So I think that's sometimes what I struggle with a little bit, is just kind of owning up to it and then just dealing with the aftermath, whether it's right or wrong, just kind of saying what's on my mind and saying what I think. Another thing is that sometimes I can be a little stubborn in the sense that I want to solve the problem or fix it right away, and sometimes you can't do it in a few minutes or even a couple hours. It takes a lot of time, so I'm stubborn in that sense that I want to get it done, and I want to get it done now. But I've learned to sort of take a step back and just look at the bigger picture and prioritize what needs to be done first, and then for the problem to be solved, or maybe it can be pushed back a little bit later and worked on in my free time. And then the last thing I would say is sometimes I can procrastinate a little bit, whether that's work or something I'm doing personally. And so with that, I've started setting these little goals for myself. Every day I have a to-do list. It can be small, it can be large, but with that I know I can, just kind of like literally cross off those things when I get that done. It's kind of like a psychological thing, I guess, for me that I, have accomplished so and so this day. Why should you hire me? Well, 2 reasons. Technically, from the technical side, I believe that I bring in quite a bit of experience, like I mentioned earlier, both with dealing with academia, dealing with retail. I've worked with a variety of software, anything from basic, Microsoft programs to things like UPS billing analysis tool, and even having to program and install alarm systems in buildings. So I think I'm pretty diverse on in that sense. And then 2, I think I'm a really great part of the team. I value my team very much. I think it's one of the most important parts of a job. I'm on time, I'm reliable, I'm dependable, and I take my job seriously. I think it's important to have fun at the job, but I think it's even more important to get the job done at the end of the day. As for salary, I'm not quite sure how what the Florida standard is for this kind of position. I would aim around $20 an hour, give or take. How would you handle a client that is frustrated and being rude? Well, first, I would try to calm them down a little bit, and then I would explain a little bit of what I'm doing so that they're not just sitting there and, waiting for this resolution to come or this answer from me. I would try to explain to them kind of this process that I'm taking or what I'm doing, so that they can see from their end that I'm really doing everything that I can for them to solve their issue as quickly as possible. What would your troubleshooting steps be to diagnose slow internet that affects the entire LAN? Well, first I would check the hardware, sort of the physical layer of the network, make sure all the cables are in the right place. Sometimes a cable can get pulled, so make sure that's in okay. Make sure the connection is good. Make sure the lights are on. Then I would maybe ping the local host or the gateway to make sure that there is a network connection there. And then I would see if I can open a website, and if it's loading, if it's partially loading, if it's just one website or a couple websites that aren't loading, if everything is down, sort of try to troubleshoot that to see where we can narrow down the problem. How would you go about finding an infected PC on a network? I would use, I would look for any activity on the antivirus admin console. I'm not sure what the exact terminology for that would be, but I would see if there's anything out of the ordinary going on. That way we can try to narrow down where which IP it's coming from. Check if there's any abnormal activity with the bandwidth, and perhaps we might have software like Wireshark installed to scan for traffic, anything abnormal. And last but not least, what things would you check in an Exchange environment if users were reporting bounced emails? Well, first I would see how many users this is affecting, whether they're sending emails internally or externally. And then I would check the firewall to see what exactly is blocking them, and maybe perhaps there's some sort of spam filter set by the office, so users to protect users, obviously, but kind of try to pinpoint where the problem is growing from, and I think most importantly to see if it's really just a couple of users or if this is affecting everyone that's trying to send out the email throughout the company. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interview for you, and I look forward to hearing back. Thanks.